Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I've got a few books here and a couple more on the side that we'll get to a little bit later. Let's get straight into this. So up first we have Strange Academy 17. This is the second to last issue. So this run of the comic will end with issue 18 and then it will continue same creators. Presumably a few months after that. I don't think anything's been announced yet, but a lot happens here. I really enjoyed this book. I haven't decided pick of the week yet, but it very well could be Strange Academy. Just things that have been brewing for a while all sort of erupt this issue, and it is just really well done. I've been enjoying this book the entire time. I will miss it while it's gone, but I will pick it up again once it gets relaunched, because that's what Marvel does. But the series has been great. If you haven't been reading, I highly recommend it, and I will be along for the ride however long I get kids in this school. Or not. Maybe not. Maybe it will just be the kids and not a school. I guess we'll see where things go. Up next is Son of Kal-El, issue 9. This is part 2 of a crossover with Nightwing. I did not read part 1. I'm not reading Nightwing. I do hear good things. But this is good, and I don't even think that you really need to read part 1. You've got Nightwing in Metropolis. I mean, you've got really all that you need to understand. Basically right here in a series of text boxes, and then we get this, which is fun, even though his hair looks like garbage. But it's really good. Nightwing stuff. I don't remember the last time I read anything with Nightwing. This is basically him as a main character instead of him showing up in the Batcave for a couple of panels. So it's interesting, it's good. We get Lois in some sweats, which is weird, but it's good. I'm not as big a fan. I didn't like the art change because I believe this is the artist from Nightwing instead of the artist from Son of Kal-El. I didn't like it as much, but it's a good read, and next issue things will be back to normal, I guess. We'll see what happens. It's fine. It's good. It's good. Story's good. The art is fine. Punisher issue 1. This is the start of Jason Aaron's run. It's supposed to be a reinvention of the character after he's been away for a few years, mainly because of this skull and certain people adopting it and doing things with it that weren't that great. But this issue in particular makes me realize that maybe I don't like Jason Aaron as much as I used to. I was a huge fan. I was reading most of what he was doing. I think it started around... I got into Scalped around the same time as Wolverine and the X-Men. I followed him on to Thor. I followed him on to Avengers, and that is really where I think things went sour for me, is Avengers, and I read that for longer than I should have before dropping it, and I still don't like him here. This issue is... I just don't care. We do get this, which is really nice. And I looked, and there is no Angel Punisher, and there's no Frankencastle, but this really makes me want to go back and read some of the previous Punisher series that get a lot more praise. So maybe that will wind up happening. Maybe that will be the outcome of this. But this is... I mean, it's Punisher taking over the Hand, essentially, and we find out why he does that, and he gets this new logo that is not yet explained. He uses swords now instead of guns, but it's okay. It's no Conan, for sure. I will not be continuing to read this. Next up is Little Monsters, issue 1. I talk a lot about Lemire on this channel, but I've also been a longtime fan of Dustin Nguyen, and I'm really glad they're working together again. I was a huge fan of Descender and Ascender, and this time we have kids as vampires. So this issue, I haven't done a page count. It felt like it was a longer issue than normal, and maybe that's just my imagination because it like physically feels like the same page count if you can weigh paper. But this issue is mostly atmospheric world building and character introduction. We meet this cast of characters, and then we get a really well done surprise at the end. So this is mostly black and white. We get splashes of red and other colors. This and some of this. It's a really good read. Not much happens until the very end. I'm already signed up for the whole series, however long this winds up being. This is good. I recommend it. Just not much happens this issue. It might read better as a trade. I don't know. Then Mechanika, issue 3 of 4 of the Monster of the Ministry of Hell. I'm a big fan of Joe Benitez, Lady Mechanika, her previous series. This miniseries in particular is a bit harder, just emotionally, because it's predominantly about sort of industrialized child abuse. There's a ministry, and I think it's Ministry of Health, if I remember correctly. But there are a bunch of children that are basically being abused, tortured, experimented on, and that makes for a rough read. But it's still good. I still enjoy the character of the series, absolutely the art, and I mean, when you're talking about child abuse, it's very emotionally different than her punching out a vampire in Mexico. It's very different, but it's still good, and I will continue reading this onto her next series. There's usually a break between miniseries of a few months, so we'll get to issue 4. It'll go on break for a few months, and then hopefully we get some more adventures. Not that I have anything wrong with, an emotional miniseries. It's just it's heavy stuff. And lastly, The Good Asian, issue 9. This is also a penultimate issue. It will be ending with issue 10, and so a lot has been going on in this series, and at least we get a summary here that tells you all about it. It's good because it's been a slowly unfolding mystery over the past 9 months, and there are a number of characters. Everyone has their own motivations. All of this is good. It makes for a complicated story to follow over a 9-month period. You're like, who's this guy again? What was he doing? I've long said that this will read better as a collection. Once you have all 10 issues in hand, you can read it at a faster pace than over the course of 10 months. But this is good. I still enjoy it. The art's great. The crime story, I'm a big fan of crime stories in general, but the mystery, the crime, all of it, excellent. Highly recommend the series. That's not actually all that I got this week. I also picked up the next issue of X-Men, so I am slowly catching up on this. I have read it. I have words to say about that. But next week, I think I'm only getting 2 issues. It's super low pull week for me, so I'm going to save some stuff for then. I also got issue 2 of X-Men, so I'm finally going to read this, which hasn't played that big of a factor so far in my understanding of the series. Seems fine. I haven't read this one yet, but I'll talk about that. And I got Lady Baltimore, finally. I think this was supposed to be out as a collection last year, like November. But I've been reading this, and I think I have some thoughts already. A bit different than Tales from the Outerverse that I recently recorded. I don't know if that's online yet, but I think I maybe have made a decision about the Baltimore universe. I will finish reading this and then see where things go. So that is everything that I got this week. And as far as pick of the week, there were 2 big launches, Punisher and Little Monsters. Punisher, just, I don't recommend it even. It's fine. I don't know. I'm not gonna continue reading it, and I'll probably wind up giving this away. Little Monsters is the start of something, but there's not really enough meat on this bone yet to for it to get Pick of the Week, which means it goes to Strange Academy. Like I said in the beginning, a lot happens this issue, things that have been brewing for a long time. There are major consequences here, and it is excellent. The series is great, highly recommended. As always, I get all of my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.